You're listening to a DM podcast.
We would like to acknowledge and give thanks to the traditional owners of the land we record this podcast on, the Yagara and Turrbal people,
and their continued connection to the land and waterways on which we meet.
Hello and welcome to Sportish, where we look at life through the lens of sport. I am Georgie Trickett.
And I'm Libby Trickett.
And Lib, today, unfortunately, we have to start off with what was a really upsetting announcement that came out over the weekend, and that was about the death of West Coast Eagles player Adam Selwood. Unfortunately, he's passed away at the age of 41 years of age, just 4 months after his brother Troy also passed away, his twin brother. He was a West Coast player who had gone on to hold various coaching roles with the club and was also part of the setup of their AFLW program. He was undoubtedly, and quite obviously from the outpouring of grief that we've seen over the weekend, very much loved and very much admired. And I heard it described that everyone who met him just loved being around him. What did you think when you heard these reports?
I think for me, the devastation, I mean, the Selwood family, I just don't know how they're coping. We should say there are 4 brothers, and what their siblings and what their parents must be going through to have lost both of their sons. So they're twins.
Yes.
The way in which they have passed away, it's just incredibly sad.
And these are 2 men who were married, had families, the undeniable grief that their whole family, their community, their clubs.
And even more broadly than that though, George, like I am not a huge AFL watcher.
As has been well documented.
Well documented. And you see this situation where, you know, these communities, like these sporting communities and these clubs and these teams have lost, you know, such an integral part of those communities. And
part of the, like the fabric of their community.
The fabric. That's a beautiful way of putting it. You know, they're part of the tapestry of that group of people and, you know, have obviously done so much good and have contributed so beautifully to not only their community but of course their families as well. And it's heartbreaking. I don't think there's any other way of describing it. I think Craig McRae, who is the coach of Collingwood, spoke really beautifully in a press conference that he was part of where, you know, he basically said there's no book written on this. There's no, you know, guidelines on how to navigate or talk about this kind of grief and the sadness that, you know, so many people would be experiencing right now. And certainly, you know, as someone who hasn't been a huge AFL fan, but can see that humanity in these moments and, you know, it's heartbreaking for me. So you can't even imagine what it's like to be in those inner circles. The thing that I've been kind of running over in my head, and Georgie, you're much more across all of this than I am, but for me, AFL is a leader in so many levels, you know, in education, you know, in retirement, in helping athletes navigate these things. And certainly kind of mental health and well-being is something that they have at the forefront of their mind. And it's still these people who are, you know, struggle and are impacted.
It's important to know that the AFL is, like you say, a real leader in this space, and not just from a sporting perspective. I would say as a corporate organisation in Australia, the amount of focus they have on mental health and well-being is quite incredible. They have an industry mental health clinical governance framework. So having come from a bit of health and understanding this better, a clinical governance framework is like a corporate governance framework. So in big corporations, you'll have like a board of directors and you'll have an audit committee and you'll have all these different committees and things that report up through a very formalised structure. The AFL has that not just for health, but for mental health.
Yeah.
And that means that they have the input of doctors, professors, industry experts, all in this area of mental health. They're kind of at the forefront of talking about this issue and putting in place really systematic tools and frameworks to deal with mental health in clubs. I think it's also really important to understand that this is a community-wide issue, and we just see it amplified in places like sport because we watch it and we love it and we hold these people up as gods. But men are as likely to experience mental ill health as women.
Yeah.
It trends the same way for both genders. But what is different is at the same phase of mild to moderate mental health distress, men are half as likely to seek support and to access services than women.
Yeah.
So you can't underestimate the impact of us not understanding better how men need to access mental health and why and when they do. I don't think we understand that enough as a society, and I don't think we've done enough work.
It's a crisis.
It's absolutely. And I heard an amazingly made point by the CEO of Richmind WA. They're the biggest mental health support group in Western Australia. And he said, men aren't likely to go to the doctor. They don't have that connection, that inclination to go to the GP when they have an issue. Men will often talk to another man first.
Yeah, interesting.
And I think that's really important for our communities to remember, that for any of our male listeners and for people, you know, who want to go back and talk about this in their household, those first conversations are actually going to be with friends, with colleagues, with teammates. They're the first point of contact for when a man is having mental health issues. And as a community, we probably need to have a better understanding that that's actually being communicated to us and what to do next. And also to create those environments for men to have those discussions.
Correct.
So, you know, we've seen the
men's groups.
We've seen the massive impact of men's sheds in creating environments, probably for older people, an older generation. We know that there's great walking groups like Men's Walk and Talk, which is just an outdoor active exercise group which facilitates further conversations. These sporting clubs are the right place to be having these conversations, and never has the role of sport been more important in providing the mental health pathways for men to get the help they need.
Couldn't agree more.
I've got a bit of a gear change.
Yes, a little vibe shift.
A vibe shift. I have something that really challenged me this week that I would like to play for you.
Please.
Reporters should be able to play the sport that they're reporting on. 100% agree. I think that it's egregious, yes, if that's a word, that somebody could report on something that they've never played before. Never played before. It's crazy. And we can maybe dull it down and be like, not necessarily play the sport, but at least a sport. Like sweat a little bit. So if you play basketball, you could maybe report on baseball. Yeah, because you've been in that element. You've been in that locker room. You understand the feeling a little bit. Then you just learn it. But to play no sport at all, but yet have everything to say about it, it's kind of crazy. I agree.
Libby, that was WNBA player Asia Wilson. I just have to ask you, does this mean I can't talk about swimming?
Yes. Jokes. How do you feel about that, Georgie?
So I had many thoughts that came in, like barreled into my head as I was watching this. And the first one was, this is internalized misogyny. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Because I listened to that and I was like, okay, so traditionally women weren't allowed to play competitive or prominent broadcastable sport with the exception of the Olympics. So does that mean that women
can't report on anything?
Can't report on any sport, full stop, the end? Is that what we're saying?
Does that mean able-bodied people can't commentate on the Paralympics, or
and
Paralympians not commentate on the Olympics?
And also, is this how we create these barriers to entry?
It was so interesting. Like you, I had kind of multiple feelings at once, which is why we love to do this topic of, you know, how do you feel about, or how
we don't know how to feel about this.
I don't know how to feel about it. Because, you know, on one level, I get what she's saying.
Totally.
But I think it's not necessarily about the journalists or the commentators, but maybe more about the spectators who then go and have very strong opinions on social media.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of...
no, I took it as she's saying you shouldn't be reporting.
No, I know, but I wonder if where
it's seeded.
The seed of that comment is from all of the people who would have opinions, which she's a WNBA star. Like, she is going to have a lot of hate from a lot of people, I'm sure, because of just the prominence, what social media
profile.
is, the profile and what social media is now, which is just a lot of trolls. And so I wonder if that's where that comment is seeded from, because at the end of the day, anyone can become a reporter and a commentator and a journalist on sport if they have done the work, basically. But it's those comments and opinions from people who are so far from the sporting spectrum, who then, are just mean about people's performances. They absolutely don't have a right to have an opinion unless you are in it and understand things, which I would say more than likely as a sports journalist, you probably have an idea of someone's trajectory. And if you don't, then you probably should try and find out, because then you're not doing your job.
Because that's kind of your job.
Correct.
It's interesting. Like, I thought about some of the commentators that we have here in Australia. Like, has Bruce McAvaney ever run a 100-meter final? Or a 400-meter final?
No, I'm sure he hasn't.
And
no offense for Bruce.
No.
Sorry if you have.
And yet he's one of Australia's
What about
most...
Phil Liggett? Was he a cyclist?
I feel like he was a cyclist.
So he's allowed.
You'll have to Google that.
Yeah.
I don't know about Phil Liggett specifically. Cycling is
my jam.
Your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if you put these rules in place, then you wouldn't have a Bruce McAvaney.
Yeah.
If you put these rules in place, then where and when would women have got exposure to broadcast to then be able to be part of commentary teams and organisations? If you had these rules in place, there's an amazing cricket broadcaster, Bharat Sundaresan, who is from India, who grew up playing cricket on the street in India, but is just a student of the game.
Yeah, she's exceptional.
Loves, and he is just passionate about everything to do with cricket, and will stand and watch in the nets. He understands the batters and all this sort of thing. So would we not have his opinion, and would we not have diverse opinions?
Yes.
And opinions of different...
Which I think categorically we can say, no, we wouldn't. Like, we wouldn't have the diversity of opinions if we kind of stuck to this idea of only people who have played at the highest level can then go and commentate or be a journalist of sport.
But I do understand this erosion of expertise and experts.
Yes.
In a society where everyone has access to media and the ability to deliver media, and so you lose...
And the advent of sports podcasts.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's like
so lame.
Really holding up a mirror here. But I think, like, are players saying, hey, if you want to do a technical analysis on our game, you need to have been a player.
Yeah. And on that respect, you kind of go, oh, that's a fair call. In that specific area, I think that's absolutely fair. But I really do think that she's kind of coming at it from the couch
warriors.
Critic. Yeah. Right? Like those critics who are coming from the couch, who just have as we all become during the Olympics and the Paralympics, where we're all of a sudden experts on the sports that we've never seen before. And then all of a sudden we're telling people that I can't believe that person didn't get selected in that position.
But isn't there a joy in everyone then being able to be involved?
I totally agree. Unfortunately, I think in this situation she's not quite right in how she expressed her opinion. I do understand what she's trying to say from the critics' angle and from people who just have these incredibly strong opinions about something that they actually have no true understanding about. But we shouldn't be creating more barriers for people to get involved, have conversations in and around sport. Because if that was the case, Georgie, we could not for 1 second talk about F1.
I know.
Not for 1 second.
I mean, do I understand how the cars work? Absolutely not.
I still don't know whether it's box or pit. But do I love Carlos Sainz? Yes, I do.
Every day of the week.
Georgie, I have a listener question to finish on for us this week. The question is from one of our sporties. Hi, Libby and Georgie. Feeling like a real mum, wowza, and wanted to get your thoughts. 2 of my 3 kids are playing weekend sport now. It's a lovely new stage and I love watching them grow in so many ways. But I can't get over how many lollies they're now consuming each week. They get some at weekly training, and because I usually have all 3 kids with me, the siblings usually get 1, 2. Totally get that, even if they've just been waiting on the sidelines. This includes the 2-year-old. At my son's soccer last week, one dad opened a packet during the warm-up. They hadn't even played yet, and then, of course, there are more lollies to follow the match. Am I being over the top? I know I'm the parent, and of course I can set down our family boundaries, but I'm honestly shocked at how prevalent it seems to be. Is it just commonplace now? Do I just chill? This is kids' sport. Mine are 8 and 5, and I just don't know why we feel the need to be handing out lollies at every step. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, I feel so triggered.
Georgie, tell me your thoughts.
This is a conundrum I have absolutely wrestled with as a parent of children who participate in sport. I need to declare that
You're anti-lolly, aren't you?
I hate the lollies.
Classic you.
I hate the association it creates. And I'm also have just accepted it.
Interesting.
And I also am someone who has happily established some, what's the right word, routines or traditions for us around certain sports days. So when the girls have whole day sports carnivals, it is a tradition that we pull into McDonald's on the way home and get a thick shake and a thing of fries.
Oh, you're wild.
I know, right? And I'm aware that like I'm making this association, but I kind of love it as a tradition.
Yeah.
Similarly, like on a Saturday morning at netball at 9:30, if one of my kids says, "Can I have a thing of hot chips?" I'm now at the point when I'm like, "Here is my credit card. Go and
for
buy
it."
it.
Yeah.
So I am obviously just a picture of what's the right word?
Conflict.
Yeah.
Opposing
opinions in the same, but I totally agree with what our listener is saying about hating the lolly connection. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing as someone who comes from a family with deeply flawed eating habits and, you know, a history of binge eating disorders and, you know, myself having dealt with not binge eating but very negative associations with food. I totally understand all of that. And I think I'm like you, Georgie, like I don't love it. I probably don't hate it as much as you do because I just don't have the energy.
Oh, you've got 5 children.
There's too many
You're
things.
like, have you eaten something? Great.
Is it a whole packet of lollies? Ooh,
Less than ideal.
Not ideal.
But also,
let's not do that again. But also probably will happen again at some point.
Exactly.
It's one of those things. I think this is where what you're saying is so accurate. I think if we as parents can create those traditions around competition specifically, I don't think necessarily around training, which is what I did, which is we had McDonald's every Saturday morning after training, which is kind of sweet, but also not ideal, especially off the back of having McDonald's most days of the week. But I think we can create those traditions because I think they are lovely memories to have because I know for me, I would go to my local carnival and we would have hot chips and red frogs. And that was an association that I created with swimming and swimming, you know, with my friends and outdoors, and that was lovely. Equally, I know my husband had a similar experience, even though he grew up in Sydney. He had hot chips and red frogs, which is kind of funny. But I think that's where we need to create those traditions and connections. And I think that is actually a really lovely thing to do.
Oh, thank God, because I did think I was being hypocritical. So hypocritical.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that you're not being hypocritical.
No.
But I think both things can be true. It's that really annoying thing where both things can be true. Like, I don't love it either. Should the dad be opening lollies at the start?
Oh, come on, mate. You can do better than that.
Like, we can have better expectations than that. Don't do that. Can we please do fruit at halftime or at full time alongside the lollies? Absolutely. Will they get left behind? Probably. But, you know, we can try.
I can guarantee you those apples are not being eaten.
They're not being eaten.
While there's red frogs available.
They'll take them and then they'll be left in the bag and go rotten. But like, at least we're kind of trying to put both in front of the kids.
So I reached out to Dr. Zali Yeager from the Embrace Collective.
An actual expert.
Because I thought we needed actual expertise. We've just spoken about the erosion of expertise.
Rather than us
So
being
guys, we're really like improving things here at Sportish. And I've reached out to an actual expert and she was like, ooh, so interesting. If there are a range of snacks and the kids can choose what they feel like and there's no pressure or commentary or judgment about what they choose and how much, then it would be fine. However, if there is a forced eat your fruit to get your lolly, have you ever done that?
All the time. Oh, jeez. Oh, Zali.
Or you can have your lollies, you've earned it after a win. Or are you sure you need more red frogs, Jimmy? Guilty. I mean, I don't have a Jimmy, but I've absolutely said those words. Commentary. Then it's reinforcing the moralization and judgment of food and creating connections for kids that they can only have certain foods if they are good or have burnt it off. She does say, though, it's definitely very complex and nuanced.
Right.
So, parents.
I think the moral of the story
is that we've all got this wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
We have all made mistakes here.
Screwed it up.
Okay.
But I think the simple version for me as a layperson who doesn't have a huge brain capacity, have options.
Options are great.
Options. We have the apple, we have the lollies.
But we don't connect the you must have one before you can have the lollies.
Basically, you just give them it without saying anything.
And accept that no one's eating the apples, the oranges will be left behind.
And that's okay.
And you'll just be taking them home later to make a fruit salad.
Yeah, which again, maybe people won't eat.
Which you and your partner
will nibble on later.
Will consume for the next 5 days in an effort to remove all the oranges and apples from your house.
No, it's so true.
Oh, parenting is hard.
It's so hard.
Thank you for these questions because honestly, I looked at Libby and was like, I hate this.
Yes.
And I'm sure I'm not right to be so.
No, but I think it's important because as well, we were taught the wrong things growing up, in my opinion. We want to do better. Not that we need to do better. We want to do better.
We will do better.
And we can do better. And so let's just give them the food without saying anything.
So everyone just say nothing. And if you say nothing, you can't get it wrong.
Correct. Exactly. Done. Sorted. We've solved the world's problems.
We are nailing this job. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Sportish. We have some really great conversations coming up in the next couple of weeks. They are more of our interview style format. They're with some really interesting people. They're conversations that we think are important and deserve some prominence in our feed. So keep an eye out for that. And we've also got some exciting changes that are going to be happening. When would we say, Lib?
In the next couple of months, I would say.
In the next couple of months. Libby and I have some things that we really want to focus on and we want to give our time and attention to them.
And creativity too.
And creativity.
Because we only have so much bandwidth, Georgie.
I mean, I was going to say we have endless creativity. We have very little time. That's our finite resource. So there are some changes that are coming up. We think they're pretty exciting.
We'll let you know more about them as they come. But yes, it's really exciting. And I think everyone's going to love it. I think you will all really enjoy
Manifesting that you will love it.
Well, I think because it's along these lines, right, of how can we better support our kids and how can we as parents do better in these areas of sport. So
yeah, lollies and so much more.
So much more.
Stay tuned.
But also lollies.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.